everybody. Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk About. And as always, this podcast and other podcasts in the Jazzy Groove Rainy Day Podcast family are brought to you by the power of five. Enough of that. You know it. I know it. We say it. Do us a favor. If you do one thing today, hit the like button. Okay, that's it. On with the podcast. Today's podcast is brought to you from a podcast called Eight at the Table. Shout out to the people over Eight at the Table who are talking about MGTOW. And for those who don't know, MGTOW is men going their own ways. It's an acronym. And in a nutshell, that movie was saying, you know what? You do your thing, I'm gonna do my thing, we're gonna be fine. And they just do what they're gonna do, independent of a woman. Because they don't need men. Women said they don't need no man. Well, they said we don't need no woman, which is inherently crazy, but to each their own. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast. I'm going to be stopping it because I haven't seen it yet. And we're going to talk about it and we're going to go from there.
If I had to think about it or answer this question, because there's no woman earning a ring. There's no woman that's setting themselves apart. Being pretty only costs $8,500.
For proper context, the question that was asked at the very beginning of this podcast is why are men today not marrying women? Or something to that effect. And he said because women aren't earning the ring. Let's continue.
$8,500 in 3 months of healing. So now
Pretty subjective.
well, I mean, you get what I'm going with this. So when you add that up, being pretty is becoming more common than ever, even though it is subjective. Or let's say, how about this? Being aesthetically pleasing to the eye is more common than ever. So
I'd have to agree with that because the bar for entry in the sexual slash dating marketplace these days is decidedly low. It does not take much at all for a woman to find a man. Because remember, even these so called ugly women, they get their chance to shine. And if you don't think that they do, you're living under a rock. It is what it is. Men, by nature, want to sow their seeds as far and wide as possible. So, and if they can get away with it, and notice I said that there, if they can get away with it, they'll smash a ugly woman. Now, what is ugly? Not pleasing to the eye aesthetically. And we all know them. We've all seen them. And again, it is what it is. I can't understand for the life of me how a guy can say, I never hit that. Well, no, that's not true. He will say that around his boys. By himself, no one to see it, he's in there. Again, is what it is. Let's continue.
So now it's, what are y'all doing outside of that? I think that women are also are in the process of building themselves up from being oppressed for so long that they don't care to, be a wife as well, or and I'm not mad at them for that. So yeah.
Excuse me. Speak for yourself. Now, I can say I'm not mad at them, but that's because I don't want them. I got mine, and I'm very happy with her. Thank you very much. I got mine. Now, for the majority of men out there today who may not be in the position that I find myself in, I feel for you because I've seen what they're like today. And the quote Bill Cosby, I don't want it. I don't want it because there's too much that I have to give up as a man in order to fit into the mold of a husband. Let's continue.
Yeah. If you ask, that's my answer to the question.
Derek, what's your
It's a little bit everywhere,
what's
but you
what's
get
your
it.
take on it?
All right, ask me again. What's the
Why so the premise of this is there really aren't enough men for the number of women who seek marriage. I don't know if the word is marriable or marriageable.
marriage material?
Let's just, yeah.
Well, first of all, we need to say no. There is not enough men because women outnumber men.
Thank
No lies given. That's the core of the problem. Women outnumber men today. So there's never going to be enough. So all that talk of there's a guy out there for everybody, not true. There are a group of women who are going to die alone. Again, it's not nice, it's not kind, it's not fair, it's not just. But it is what it is. You can say what you want about it. I can't believe that. I can manifest it, this, that, and the other thing. No, you can't. You can't manifest it because manifestation is a lie. Because manifestation, in a nutshell, is believing in something enough and then it happens. Is it possible? Oh, yes, it's possible. Anything is possible. But is it probable? More than likely, no. No, it's not possible. And it's not possible because the numbers are against you. Let's get back to it.
you. Y'all was waiting on somebody.
And women live longer than men, so there's not everybody can't go.
Everybody
Everybody's not going to go to the big show if that's where you want to go.
The ship.
Yeah, cause trust me, everybody want to get married, but that shit is hard.
It is.
It is hard, and we're living in a day and age where, and I'm gonna look at the camera, social media got you thinking you popping, so you think you got options.
So today we have Rico, obviously.
You know what I'm saying? So why would you put yourself in bondage?
sorry about that. But he said no lie there. Social media got you pop thinking that you all that, and you're not. Excuse me. It's been said on many different podcasts by many different hosts, many different panelists, many different guests. It's delusion, which is the central point of every podcast that I've ever been in, ever produced, ever started, whatever you want to call it. Delusion. Let's continue.
You popping. So you think you got options. So after one argument,
agree.
it's done. You don't get another try. You know, so we're not conditioning our our people, our young people, to be married or even want to be married. First of all, we don't even make monogamy look cool. It doesn't look enjoyable.
Why would you want to do it?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So why would you put yourself in bondage? Because that's what marriage is. It's
Well,
easy to get in and hard to get out.
but quick question. So, but you can have a marriage and it not be based on monogamy.
And
But
that
But they never work. You show me one that has stood the test of time. I've got time, I'll wait. That's what I thought. They don't last. Because coming from a practical standpoint, and I'll get back to them again in a minute. Coming from a practical standpoint, pleasing one part day in and day out consistently is hard work. It is hard. Now, now take that everyday grind and multiply it by two, by three, by four. Classic example of how it doesn't work. Sister wives. The patriarch of the family, Cody, at one time had four wives. I think he's down to two now. Why? From what I've seen, and I don't watch religiously. My wife watches it, and I may, from time to time, sit down with her and watch a little bit of it. But from what I've seen, excuse me, is not being able to spend enough time with everybody. And that's because, and I hate to say it, everybody has a favorite. And you will gravitate more towards your favorite at the expense of others in the polygamous relationship. And they get in their feelings and they feel some kind of way and it winds up breaking up. If he can't do it, do you think you can? Let's get back to it.
that's the
people have to
problem.
be willing to have those types of conversations and say, like, look, I want to marry you. I want to build with you. I feel like we're great life partners, but these are my desires sexually. These are my desires physically, so on and so forth.
All right, like
Spiritually.
take Rico. At his age, he's super mature.
Thank you,
I
Derek.
would
age.
not say all
No,
of
no,
that.
no. If you hear what
Thank
he
you, Derek.
talks, you know, a lot of this stuff that, you know, to have something besides monogamy takes so much maturity.
Yeah.
It takes so much maturity and patience. And we don't have it for each other.
And I'm listen, I don't want to go too far left. I want to stay on
Yeah.
topic, but I
Right.
do want to touch on a couple of things that you were saying. Listen, I told you this earlier. It's gonna be funny on camera, but you're gonna understand what I'm saying. I trust God, right? So when I say that, right, I believe that God is faithful to amongst everybody. Everybody gets a fair shake at life, in some way, shape, or form, right? So for me to say that women outnumber men and then try to put monogamy on it, I don't think that that's right for women. You're trying to tell me that if it was 3-1, I don't know the numbers. Let's just say if it was 3-1, that 2 women don't deserve or won't find a husband. It doesn't make sense to me. So I think that going back to another point that you said, the options being so upfront because of social media has now opened the eyes to a lot of people that are like, hey, I want to be married, but maybe I want more than one wife. Or maybe I want more than one husband. I don't know, whatever your preference is. And now you're seeing traditional values conflict with the realistic
Right.
lifestyle.
I call cap on that. I call cap. Because you got somebody sitting there talking about how he believes in God and God loves everybody, he's there for everybody. Through his son, Jesus Christ, did he not say about one man and one woman? Did he? If I got it wrong, I got it wrong. Please let me know in the comments. If I got it wrong, I got it wrong. But I can remember him saying something to that effect. And again, on a primal level, polygamy doesn't work because it's hard. One on one is hard. 2-on-1, 3-on-1, 4-on-1, forget about it. It's not going to happen. Let's get back to it.
A
Right.
realistic reality of the world. And I feel like that is also hindering marriages as
I'm
well.
glad you said the word traditional because I'm from North Carolina, born and raised in church, and the Bible says
Amen.
a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And we have a lot, because in the Bible, when they say man, they're not just talking about us as men physically. We're talking about women and men. What we have is a lot of double-mindedness where you want to be traditional and independent.
Yeah.
And it's confusing. So men don't know the assignment. We don't know who to. It's when you're with a person, you have to be able to wear different hats. I don't know who to tend to because there's a little boy Rico who was hurt. So sometimes the woman has to put on the hat and tend to the little boy Rico inside of you that was hurt. It's same thing with women. There's a little girl Aaron that didn't get certain things. You need a man who is
My
mature.
daddy was around.
No. But you
I'm
know,
joking.
you need that person who
She said, "Ha, ha, ha,"
understands
to those.
that they have to wear several hats in a relationship, and people too much is given, much is required. People want to give in, but they don't want to be required of anything. Don't make me work. You know what I'm saying? It's harder to be with one person than several. Because with that one person, you
gotta
got to
work
keep
at
their
it.
attention.
You got to work
With
at
a
it.
bunch of people, you can spend a little bit of time here, spend a little time here, and guess what? Everybody feels fulfilled.
No, they don't. I call cap again. No, they don't. Because if that was true, everybody would do it. And I just gave you a prime example of how it didn't work. No, it doesn't. No, they don't. There's some things I agree with, but right now there's a lot of things that I do not agree with. Let's listen to a little bit more of it to see if there's anything more I agree with, and then we'll break it down and discuss it.
But like when you want to sit down and be with that one person, they really show you what you're lacking because a relationship is nothing but a mirror and you cannot hide from the reflection. That person's gonna show you the good and the bad in yourself.
So I think that when it comes to marriage, a lot of us actually did not see
Right?
we didn't see a true version of what marriage is. Like everybody like hypes up well, my meemaw and my peepaw, they was this, that, and the other. Yeah, but your grandmother was trapped. She didn't want to be there.
Right.
She was getting ass.
No. I'm not letting that slide. No. How do you know she didn't want to be there? Did you ask her? Was she honest with you with the answers when you asked her? If you asked her. No. She might have been abused. How many times do you think that actually happens in a day-to-day relationship? It's statistically insignificant. Does it happen? Yes, it happens. And it's unfortunate when it does. My heart goes out to anybody that has been affected by DV or SA or anything to that effect. But for you to come out here and tell me she didn't want to be there, how do you know? I'm going to want to turn this off in a minute, but let's listen to just a little bit more of this.
Ass whooped. She ain't had no job. She couldn't have a checking account on her own.
Thank you, man.
You know what I mean? Like there were just so many
Thank
things.
you.
Like
Okay, that's it. That's it. I can take no more of that. There are so many different layers that I can peel back just on that little segment alone. And uh-uh, no man. You're projecting what you think onto other people. And that's a no-no. Let's go through a couple of facts. One, divorce as of right now is between 45 and 50% of all marriages. Which means it's pretty much a crapshoot as to whether yours is going to survive or not. Of the marriages that end in divorce, the ones that don't work, women initiate the divorce proceedings 80% of the time. Now, the numbers may be a bit off now, but it's overwhelmingly in the woman's favor. And that jumps up to around 90% if they're college educated. Now, I've heard people talk about college educated women don't get divorced. That's the other thing. The jury's still out on that. I haven't done enough research on it. But I'm going to, and I'm going to let you guys know in a later podcast what my findings are. But be that as it may, it's still an overwhelming majority. Another argument that you may hear is, oh, men cheat. Women break up because men cheat. Do men cheat? Yes, they do. Do women leave when men cheat? Yeah, they do. But it's also a statistic fact that the more money a man makes, the more a woman will tolerate it, and the less likely she is to initiate divorce proceedings. Matter of fact, there are shows out there where the wife knows that the man's cheating, and she's fine with it. He gets his rocks off, I get to live my life, everything is good. Now that's not kind. That's not fair. That's not just. That's not right. It's none of those things. And yet, there it is. I'm gonna have to really start vetting these videos before I let you guys hear it and wait on it, because that video there, I don't like it. You might. You might find something to like in it. You may wind up signing on it. It is what it is. For me, that's a hard pass. Miss me with that. And again, I just keep getting drawn back to she was she was trapped. What if she wasn't trapped? What if she wasn't trapped? What if she knew and decided to stay anyway? It worked for her. But that's not to say that every man's going to cheat, because a lot of us don't. And unfortunately, for a lot of people, it's not because they want to be monogamous, they have to be monogamous. Because, as I stated before, getting one woman is hard. Now you got your main chick and the chick on the side. No, ma'am. That's hard. We're going to end it right there. If you want to watch the podcast, the links will be below. I want to thank you all for allowing me to bring a different point of view to your world space. Hopefully, it'll make you think. That's all it has to do. All it has to do is make you think. You can think about something and go, nah, forget about it. That's fine. That's you. You can think about it, yeah, well, I'm going to have to watch it again, so I'm not sure about it. That's fine too. Just like you listen to it, okay, that makes sense. I'm going to take some away from that and practice on it and hopefully make myself a better person. That's fine. My only job doing these podcasts is to introduce you to a way of thinking that you may not have thought of previously. That's it. And it's going to do what it does. It's going to work for you or it's not going to work for you. Either way, the bottom line for me is that I was able to introduce you to that. It is what it is. And with that, until the next, later, y'all.